The physics behind ski jumping. Presentation created by Gleb and Armin. The beginning. Ski jumping is a sport that first originated in the Netherlands. Norwegian farmers who lived on mountainous terrain began riding down the steep hills that were found naturally in their environment, and they quickly realized that a small altitude can be reached by skiing off the runoff of the hills. As a test of skill, some farmers even attempted to jump over barns and houses. The process. Ski jumping can be broken down into two very important parts, the runoff and the flight. Let's take a deeper look at both parts. The runoff. The main goal of the skier during this phase is to reduce the force due to friction and air resistance, thus having a greater velocity when their skis leave the ramp. The main way a skier is able to reduce the frictional force is by using higher quality skis. Drag is another main factor that affects the acceleration of an athlete during the in-run. In general, keeping your body in an aerodynamic position and having tight clothes on are the only real ways of minimizing aerodynamic drag. Centrifugal. A potential hazard and the last factor affecting the athlete's acceleration down the slope is the centrifugal force that begins acting on the skier during the upward curved part of the ramp. If the skier is not prepared to withstand the centrifugal force by tensing their leg muscles, they could potentially crash and fall. The flight. During the flight phase, the athlete's main goal is to maximize the total distance traveled in the air by stabilizing themselves in the most efficient aerodynamic position possible. Unlike the runoff phase, where the skiers attempted to reduce as much air resistance as possible, they now try to maximize the upward drag so they can stay in the air longer. The ramp. Right after leaving contact with the ramp, the skier must anticipate the magnitude of the backward torque that is caused by the airstream in order for the forward rotation to be stopped at the perfect angle. If the forward momentum is too great, then the angle between the skis and the horizontal is too little, which causes a decrease in velocity. If the forward rotation is too little, then the skier risks losing control. During the flight phase, there are three forces acting upon the athlete: gravitational force, lift force, and air resistance. In general, the athlete tries to increase the upward lift force in order to counteract gravity, while at the same time decreasing the force due to air resistance to maximize the velocity. All of this is achieved with the help of the V technique. The V technique simply refers to a method of placing one's skis in the air. The skier attempts to maneuver them in the shape of a V. The reason being is that the distinct shape catches more of the air that is pushing upwards on the skier. Prior to the V technique, the standard was to keep one's skis parallel in the air. With the development of the new techniques, studies show that the lift force increased by 28%. The velocity of motion along the path is broken down into two components, x and y. The flight path is described by the following nonlinear differential equations, which can be solved numerically by using proper procedures. In order to get accurate results, scientists test all of their data in a wind tunnel which has a ski jumper strapped on a steady platform and they get blasted by huge gusts of wind.
Created using Powtoon.